All right, welcome to the Blockbuster movie review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. As always, I have my co-host with me today, Richard. Go ahead and tell hello to the people. Go ahead and say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody.
All right, and we got Richard on the camera today, so you won't just hear his voice, you'll see his beautiful face. All right,
Hey.
as always, Richard, go ahead and let the people know how you felt about this movie.
All right, so here's the way I feel about that movie. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I actually liked it, and I'm not like over excited, but I went into the movie knowing what I was going to get, and I walked out of the movie. For the most part, the movie has its problems. Do not get me wrong; it's not perfect by any means, but I think I got what I was expecting out of it. The turtles were the center point of this movie, and that was the biggest difference between this movie and the last one. Um, the other thing is, it looks like they actually wanted to really right the wrongs from the last movie. So it's not like they were doing it because of reasons. It felt like they were doing it to appease the fans. If you're a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, going to like walk out this movie thinking this is the greatest film of all time. If you're a casual fan, you pretty much are going to be like, yeah, it was good. It's not there's nothing in here that makes me say I want to watch it again. Have pretty interesting action sequences. I think to me the standout like chemistry was between Bebop and Rocksteady. Like I think personally, I think they nailed it. The Turtles, I think for the most part, they got that right. The one thing that bothered me most about the movie is the fact that some of the characters that are in the movie, particularly Shredder, nothing for him to do. So he just kind of was like there to further the plot. He wasn't really there to be a foil. There really wasn't like a strong villain thing. And the other point is that the movie felt like, I don't say by the numbers, but it's almost like when you're watching it, there were clear sequences like, hey, well, we need to get to this point. So we're just going to go ahead and because of reasons, we're going to like throw this thing in here. And there were too many times where I think where the movie was like you were being advanced in the plot because they had to advance the plot, not because of this thing happened and the next thing happened. It didn't build on itself. It's just like, oh, well, we got to get to this point. So we're just going to like, boom, there it is. So overall, I liked it. Like other than the character development for some of the more supporting roles, and I'm glad to see that Megan Fox. I'm not glad, it's becoming very clear that her acting ability is not the thing that people are drawn to. It's literally just to show her off. But in this movie, they found a way to show her off, but she didn't say very much. So I never really felt her presence in this movie. I think beyond the fact that they kind of sideline a lot of characters, I think the movie had heart and it had its own charm. And if you're a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm not personally. If you're a fan of it, I could definitely see where you would like want to own this one. The first one was just okay. This one I could see where someone would actually really take time to really engross themselves in turtleness.
Turtleness, I like that. Yeah, the movie to me felt very well paced and very well thought out. I by no means, like you said, this isn't the world's greatest movie that you'll see this year by any doubt. The movie did an excellent job, like you mentioned, with Bebop and Rocksteady right from the beginning of the film. Unlike the last time they introduced Bebop and Rocksteady in the Turtle movie, it was later in the movie before they got mutated. But other than that, you hit all of the points that I want to make about this movie when you were going through your little introduction. The movie, to me, was very fast paced. It didn't drag on like the last one did, how they were trying to explain who Shredder and what the Turtles are and whatnot. They could have done that with this film, with explaining why Bebop and Rocksteady became who they are. And I just want to focus in on Bebop and Rocksteady because the Ninja Turtles came out in the 80s. So I thought they did an excellent job of incorporating their 80s style and feel, and even the way they talked in the script in this movie here, even though it's now the 21st century. They still had that 1980 feel to them, even down to the the punk rock purple mohawk and the purple
Mm-hmm.
glasses. That I thought was pretty cool. And even the characters who they got to play Bebop and Rocksteady, they're not Oscar-worthy performances, but I thought they did pretty good in the movie with their performance of Bebop and Rocksteady. So now I'll like take the time to move on to the spoiler part of the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, this is where you want to either pause, go watch the movie, or turn it off and save it on YouTube so you can come back and watch it at a later date. So with the spoiler part, the movie does focus tremendously on the Turtles this time around and their whole dynamic where they work in the shadows. They're not supposed to let humans see who they are, and they're trying to stay hidden beneath the city of New York. Even when they went to Madison Square Garden and they dropped the pizza on the floor, I thought that was hilarious. I don't even know how much money they even paid DeAndre Jordan. And what was I forgot the other dude, Christoph Porzingis, I think that's how you say his name.
I think that's what that was. Yeah.
To be in the movie, yeah, to get their little lines and whatnot. That was pretty neat. And even the whole struggle when it came to the point where they got the ooze and they could actually turn themselves back into human, or actually no, turn themselves into humans so they can look normal and walk around in the street and whatnot and go help the city of New York. They decided not to, just by throwing the ooze up against the wall and breaking it. I thought that was pretty cool. And the action sequence in this movie is one of the things I've been always complaining about when we talk about these comic book movies and these so-called action movies that we see, is that we need to actually have action sequence in the movie. I think the Brazilian part of it, like as far as story goes, was pretty much useless in the story, but they threw it in there because they wanted to put in that action sequence and whatnot. So kudos to that, because that was pretty cool seeing them ride around the tank. And I'm trying to remember, did Bebop and Rocksteady have a tank in the cartoon series growing up as a kid that I used to watch? I can't remember, but that seemed oddly familiar that I've seen that before. But that was pretty cool. And with them fighting the Foot Clan this time really didn't happen, which I was kind of glad, because I thought they overdid that last time with them just fighting the Foot over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden Shredder comes in and just wrecks shop. So I like it how they put in 2 more characters for them to fight this time, because like once you've beaten the Foot in the first movie, what's the point in having them show up again in the second movie, because you've already beaten them? So very interesting to see where they're going to head with this movie here. The only disappointment that I have in this movie is not with Tyler Perry and how he portrayed Baxter, but he didn't get mutated into the Fly. That was my only disappointment.
I can see. I think they're leaving that open, and to kind of piggyback on other disappointments, like I don't know, like for me, what really made me feel a little disheartened was it was a lot of points that happened because of simple convenience, like, you know, Shredder touches the little teleportation device and he gets teleported where Krang is, and then it's like exposition and then sent right back, and then he's on a quest to find the 3 different pieces of things. Or how is it that Donatello like can download information from an alien computer that he spent no time understanding what it is? It's just like, yeah, we're just going to tell you that he has this magic. It's like he has this magical device called a computer, and then it's going to tell you exactly what he needs to know at that moment in time. There were so many points where it was like there was no real development of anything. It was more of like, how to get you from, we got to put Krang in here, so let's take this and throw it over here. Oh, we got to tell you who he is, so Donatello's going to just tell you in here. And I know you're mashing the hell out of this I believe button, but it's okay, because Turtles are in the movie and we think they're awesome too. That's just kind of, that was the biggest, like when I walked out of the film, I was like, a little more refinement, to be honest, would have actually probably away with this movie. It's like, to me, I think the way that it was done, it's like the opposite of what X-Men Apocalypse is. It's like you have a movie that had its heart, but the execution in doing it was not the greatest. Whereas X-Men Apocalypse, it's like you have a movie that was made by accountants, but tried to throw everything in there under the sun that the fans wanted, but lacks heart. So it's just it that was the biggest thing about it. It's like, oh, like I was watching, it's like this could be so much better if they just took the time to actually make the plot work. And I know we briefly touched on Megan Fox, but I'm just glad that it's like I'm glad, but yet disheartened because April O'Neil's character pretty much got reduced to a glorified cameo almost. Like she was just there in scenes to be the human character for reasons, and that was kind of about it. Like she really had a backseat role more than anyone else. I mean, Shredder even had a backseat role if you think about it.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't talk about the disappointment that they had the only Bluetooth ever known to man that can only work in with 3 feet range.
Yeah, oh, dude, when I was watching it, you know, it was funny you said that because I was looking at, I was looking at the symbols that they had for the little device that Donatello made. Like I said, again, it's like magic. Like he is like the most awesome ever on this planet. But seriously, when I saw the Bluetooth logo, I was like, you got to be within 3 feet. I said, I'll be honest, man. It's like your cell phone headset won't even be able to work like that if that was the case. So, man, yeah. And I was like, really? I said, really? They actually used Bluetooth, the Bluetooth logo. And I was like, oh, man. This dude can literally download all the information off of an alien spacecraft in seconds. But you're telling me that that he's using Bluetooth to connect to another computer has to be within 3 feet. It was like, oh, okay, reasons. I got it. Hit button, go. Oh man, yeah. That I was watching the movie and I literally put my hand over my face and said, oh, I was like, just try harder. Just try. Oh man, what about Casey Jones? What did you think about that portrayal of Casey Jones?
You know, I like the Arrow.
Okay. You know, I liked him, but it was like the whole like trying to make a love subplot out of the character just kind of was like, okay. I mean, I guess if y'all want to go that route, sure. But I mean, the way that April O'Neil's being portrayed, I mean, she's literally just going to be like a pinup model by the end of the series, because the only thing she really did is she had that one scene where she like became like sexy Irish cosplay girl, schoolgirl for a second, and then the thing I remember her doing in the entire movie, you know, and then getting in front of the cops that during that one scene. But beyond that, there was really, I don't think she did anything. Like nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, let's circle back to Casey Jones because I didn't do him justice, but Casey Jones in this movie, I thought could have been done a little bit better than what he was, because for the simple fact that he literally taped rollerblades to the bottom of his shoe instead of putting on the rollerblades and skated around to fight Bebop and Rocksteady. I remember Casey Jones as being the guy that could basically pick up a baseball bat, a basketball, a hockey stick, and just go to town on somebody with whatever sports weapon that he had around him. And then they made this guy be a sniper with hockey pucks, which was kind of cool. I was thinking, how realistic is that?
Yeah, it's like, I think they nailed the characters that they supposed to. Like they were real. I think when they were building this movie, it felt like they were like, well, we really got to make sure that the Turtles done right, and we got to make sure Bebop Rocksteady gets done right. Everyone else can pretty much take a back seat. As long as we get those guys right, we're okay. And I think that's probably the biggest flaw, because Jones was there for reasons. Because if you take him out of the movie, other than him being a cop, really, there's nothing that he really did. You know, Will Arnett's character actually, I think, had more impact to the plot than anything else. You know, and he was kind of funny in the movie for what the scenes that he was in, but the chemistry with all the other characters just seemed like it was kind of, I think it was kind of lacking. Now, when we circle back and talk about like Bebop and Rocksteady, it's like they literally plucked them straight out of the TV show and threw them into this movie. Is what it felt like, in a good way. But you know, like, but the funny thing you say that, but like even they put like with them putting the mohawk, the purple mohawk, and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, this is 80s punk styling, but it's just kind of like, yeah, does that really fit now? But I know that it's like they pretty much were trying to make sure, please, we are so sorry we did that last movie. We're going to make everything just right this time. And I think they pulled it off. It's just, you know, there's sometimes you look at things, you're like, yeah, but does that really work now? Like, is that really the way that we want to see him? And I mean, in some respects, yes, because, you know, hey, we have an Optimus Prime with flames on it. Does that work in 2007 to now? Not really. Still, I'm not a fan of that design. I mean, I'm a fan of the design of the robot, but not flames. But, you know, is that what you want? And, you know, I think change is good sometimes, because like if you think about like Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight.
Okay, it seems like we've had a little bit of technical difficulties with Richard. He's actually timed out for a second here, so when he gets back, I'll have to let him know that he timed out, and we'll circle back to what he said. But just to continue on with what Richard was talking about, was about the Bebop and Rocksteady, and I think that they did a great job with that and putting them in there as well, because even though Seamus, when he was playing Rocksteady, he didn't have the little motorcycle helmet on with the goggles, but when he got turned into the rhinoceros, he actually did have it on his head. I thought that was pretty cool as well. So Bebop and Rocksteady weren't the main villain in the movie, but putting them in the movie and having them fight against the Turtles really pushed this forward. It's like I said before, having them say that they're fighting the clan, the Foot Clan again, really wouldn't work for me in the second movie. But in all, they did a pretty good job. Richard, you're back?
Yep, man. Sorry.
Okay. Like you timed out. You timed out.
Yeah, the power flickered just now.
Okay.
It's about to do it again. It looks like I don't know what's going on. Like our weather's about to get bad here.
Yeah, I was just telling the people about how I liked Bebop and Rocksteady and their whole portrayal in the movie, and how they weren't the main villain of the film, but they still were the adversaries towards the Turtles. So let's go ahead and get into the movie rating part here. What would you give this movie?
I'd give it a B-, to be honest. Like I walked out of the movie. I got what I wanted out of it. So I say B-.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. It wasn't the worst like TV show, video game adaptation I've seen this year. So I would have to give it a B in that respect. And this movie itself, like, you're not doing yourself a disservice by not seeing it in theater.
I would agree.
You should still watch the movie in some format when it's available to you. This movie, it does work. It doesn't feel long at all. I thought the movie was super fast paced, like I said at the beginning. Like you sit down, then you're like, oh wow, this is it. It literally feels like a long television episode, in my opinion.
That's exactly right. That's the exact best way to put it.
So movies coming up. It looks like we're going to taper off here in January. In June.
Something comes out next week.
I know June 24th is Independence Day.
There's something else that comes out in between. Warcraft. I don't know if you wanted to do that one or not.
I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm like, I think I might pass on that one.
I think that one is a hard pass.
I think I might pass on Warcraft.
Yeah, so we'll circle back and we will do this again for Independence Day, sir.
That'll work.
All right. Until next time, people, stay breezy.